Okay, one more video. We're just going to knock out these 6 problems very quickly. Again, here we're just solving equations, trying to solve for x. So quadratic type, just set equal to 0. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Factor. 3 times 2 is 6. Again, they're different. Negative is larger. So, and then we set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. So x equals -2, 3. Come over here. First thing we can do is we can take the square root of both sides. Again, since this is just, this whole term is underneath the square, we can do this. So it's going to be x plus 3 equals square root of 16 plus or minus 4. So x equals 4 minus 3, and x equals -4 minus 3. Again, because we're subtracting 3 from both sides. All right, so that's 1, and that's -7. So x equals, the solution set, -7, 1. Completing the square, we are going to leave this as is written. And remember, completing the square is... and by the way, we know we have to do completing the square because if we try to... Okay, if we try to factor that, we couldn't. Now, we could use a quadratic formula, but we can also do it by completing the square. So we go, this is 6x, 6 divided by 2 squared. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we're going to add 9 here, and we're going to add 9 here. Okay, common mistake. People don't do that. Okay, so this is x plus 3 equals 14. So x plus 3 squared equals 14. Okay, just like we did on the previous problem, we can take the square root of both sides. X plus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 14. Okay, so x equals -3 plus square root of 14. X equals -3 minus square root of 14. Okay, so you can either write it like that, or you could write it x equals -3 plus or minus square root of 14. Either or. Either. Quadratic. Okay, so this problem here, people always have trouble. We talked about this in class. If I were to give you x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0, and I asked you to factor that, you go, oh, no problem. X, 2, 1, negative. Okay, you go, oh, see, I factored it, no problem. Well, it's the same idea here. It's just that we have x to the 4th, x squared. Okay, but it winds up being exactly the same. So instead of, we factor this, instead of being an x, we have an x squared. We have an x squared equals 0. And again, this is going to be 2, 1, and this is negative. So now we have x squared minus 2 equals 0. X squared minus 1 equals 0. X squared equals 2. X squared equals 1. X equals plus or minus square root of 2. And x equals plus or minus 1, because the square root of 1 is 1. So x equals, the solution set, plus or minus root 2, plus or minus root 1. Okay, here we have quadratic formula. We do want to remember the quadratic formula. Okay. -b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. This is a, That's B, and that's C. So x equals -3 plus or minus, oops, okay, plug everything in and do the math, and we get -3 plus or minus 17/4. Last problem, a couple different ways we can look at this. Really quickly, we could say, we could do the cube root of x plus 1 equals 4. Okay, that's another way, that's a way to rewrite that. And then we could come in here, we could just cube both sides. That cancels that. Leaves me with x plus 1 squared equals 64. Take the square root. X plus 1 equals 8 plus or minus 8. And then x equals 8 minus 1. X equals -8 minus 1. 7, -9. So x equals the solution at -9 and 7. There's an alternate way of doing it. You could have also come over here and taken the reciprocal power, so 3/2. And you have to do that over here too. 3/2, exponent 3/2. This cancels out, leaving me with x plus 1. And then you go over here and you say, well, this would be the same as 4 to the 1/2 power to the 3rd power. 4 to the 1/2 power, that's the same as saying the square root. I'm sorry, square root of 4, which equals 2. And 2 cubed equals 8. So this winds up being x plus 1 equals 8 also. And we wind up with those same answers. Okay, went through that pretty quickly. Again, this is supposed to all be review, so if you're not sure of some of the math behind it, it's on you to see me about it. They're here to help you, but if I went too fast, you don't understand it, then make sure you see me, all right?